We'll now take you to Parliament, where the Governor for the Bank of Ghana is addressing Parliament. Let's go.
Bank of Ghana building. With me today, Mr. Speaker, is my first Deputy Governor, Dr. Zachariah Momuni, who is seated on my left. I also have two of the members of the project team, the gentlemen who worked on the project, two of them seated just after Dr. Zachariah, and they will help us in answering your questions. Mr. Speaker, we have also brought a number of reports that we believe will shed light on the issues, such as cost, rationale, and payments, etc. And we are happy to answer questions that you have on those reports. Mr. Speaker, we do recognize the significant public interest in the development of the new corporate headquarters. While this project was initiated before our tenure, we are fully aware of our responsibility to manage resources efficiently and to operate with transparency. Mr. Speaker, the reconstituted Bank of Ghana board will be sworn in next week, and the board will begin reviewing some of these legacy issues. Indeed, Mr. Speaker, we have scheduled for board agenda a detailed briefing on the new Bank of Ghana building by the project team members, and we intend to seek authorization from the board to engage AESL for a value for money audit into the new building. We believe this will bring clarity to the matter, and we believe this will bring closure to the issue of our new Bank of Ghana building. Mr. Speaker, as I said, the documents we have provided and submitted to leadership contains most of the issues you have requested, and we urge you to go through it and ask your questions to my team. Can I go on? Chairman, with respect, the governor in his submission is saying that he has forwarded some document to leadership, and he hopes that this will enable us ask the relevant questions. But respectfully, we haven't received any document. I think they are now sharing the document. So I just want him to wait for a moment for us to have this document.
Thank you, Honorable Minority Leader. The document has even been loaded on the console. So, Governor, please proceed. Honorable Governor, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the discussions around a new headquarters for the Bank of Ghana dates back to 2011, when the board at the time considered acquiring land for the project. However, the board at the time could not settle on a specific location until its tenure ended. Mr. Speaker, even in 2016, when I was a deputy governor, the same issue was being considered. However, we could not settle on an appropriate location. In 2019, under a new board of the Bank of Ghana, a structural integrity audit was conducted, and this showed that the existing head office, which was built in the late 1950s, had developed significant structural defects and was no longer fit for purpose. Mr. Speaker, we have provided a copy of this document also on the structural integrity audit that was conducted in 2019. Following this, Mr. Speaker, the Board of Directors at that time approved the development of a new corporate headquarters, citing security, operational efficiency, and long-term institutional needs as key factors. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, the land was acquired at West Reach, and I am informed that a competitive procurement process that was approved by the Public Procurement Authority led to the selection of Mr. Goldkey Properties Limited as the contractor under a turnkey arrangement. Mr. Speaker, the project was initially valued by the PPA at $81.8 million, but later increased to $121.1 million after the Bank of Ghana requested for re-evaluation. This was revised again to $222.8 million, and I'm just rounding off, Mr. Speaker, after the redesign and inclusion of building management systems. Mr. Speaker, there were also statutory requirements, security needs, and sustainability considerations. As a result, the total project cost increased to $261.8 million. Mr. Speaker, as of February this year, a total of $230 million approximately has been paid towards the project, with an outstanding balance of $31.8 million to be paid to the contractor. Mr. Speaker, a total of $48.3 million has been paid in taxes and levies that were related to the construction. Mr. Speaker, beyond the core building, separate contracts were awarded for other infrastructure. These include ICT systems and network infrastructure, which was awarded at a cost of $8.6 million, integrated electronic security systems, which was also awarded at a cost of $15.8 million, and furniture and furnishings that was also awarded at $11.1 million. Mr. Speaker, these elements were included to ensure that the bank operates in a secure and technologically advanced environment in line with the needs of a modern central bank. Mr. Speaker, while the new headquarters project has understandably drawn public attention, Mr. Speaker, it is important to emphasize that the Bank of Ghana remains fully focused on its primary responsibilities, which is to maintain price stability, which is to ensure financial sector resilience, and which is to foster economic growth. These are the priorities that guide our actions. As an independent central bank, we recognize, Mr. Speaker, that public trust is fundamental to our operations, and that trust is built on transparency, sound decision-making, and a demonstrated commitment to prudent financial management. Mr. Speaker, we want to assure this Honorable House that the new board will exercise its oversight responsibilities efficiently, and the new board will ensure value for money in all our undertakings. Mr. Speaker, once again, I thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Governor for Bank of Ghana and your team. Honorable members, I intend to open the floor for some questions, clarifications. Honorable Ampim Nyako, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have heard the governor, and we are happy that he's been able to provide this information. I just want to find out why the contract was awarded in dollars and not in cedis. And then secondly, you said you acquired the land. Is the cost of the land part of the cost of construction that you've given us, or is that separate? And if it is separate, have you paid fully for the cost of the land? Thank you.
Several questions, and Alexander, okay, well, honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I have a couple of questions for the governor. The first, I will reference him to paragraph 18 of the document he shared, which is talking about the cost per square meter of the building. According to the report, he's saying that the cost per square meter of this head office building is $2,068, which compares with international standard of $2,658. And so, from his own statement in paragraph 18, the value per square meter of the building is way below what it is compared to international standards. If the governor is aware, if you check with EcoBank Ghana, all the buildings that have been built here in this country in comparative terms, the cost per square meter is still even lower in the case of the Bank of Ghana than even the EcoBank building. And so this assertion, even with all the security complexities of the building that we see today, the issue of value for money that you're talking about, I think it is adequately addressed over here. The second question I want to refer him to. The second question I'm giving to you is that in terms of the approvals, the procurement approvals, is the governor telling this House that all the Bank of Ghana, did Bank of Ghana sidestep any approval process for this particular transaction? Because I know. Okay. So can the governor tell us if the Bank of Ghana got the necessary approvals for this particular transaction? Okay. My final question to the governor is whether the governor, as we speak now, is in occupation of this particular building. Thank you.
Honorable Otoja.
It's not coming. My decision is no. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the Bank of Ghana governor brief this House as to what the cost or what actually accounted for the repeated increase in the contract sum?
Honorable Yaframpo.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is just one question that I want to find out. In his introduction, the governor did mention value for money audit. I just want to find out if that exercise was really carried out. The value for money audit, if it was carried out. It was finally carried out before the construction. Yes, the back of that's it. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Fondi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Two quick questions. I am aware that before a project like this would be costed, all the architectural drawings, all the consultancies and everything would have been done before an institution like Bank of Ghana would put up a cost. Unfortunately, from $81 million, we are hitting revived to about $260 million. The Bank of Ghana governor did not explain to us what exactly changed in the cost of the changing of the price. Can we know that? And number two, the Bank of Ghana should be able to educate us also the selection of the consultants that would have to pay over $3 million for this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll take one more from here and give the opportunity to the governor. Kennedy Osenyako.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the governor if there was a value for money audit report. If there is not, will he consider engaging Crown agent to conduct a value for money report and furnish the House so that we'll be able to know the exact cost or what accounted for the cost of the project? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Governor, you have the floor. You can provide answers to all questions so far asked.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would defer to my colleagues, the members of the project team, to provide initial answers, and then I'll come in. But I'll just touch on the one question before I defer to them. This was a question on occupation of the building. Yes, my predecessor moved into his office before he left office. Why? Because this was allowed under the contract. Remember, the project is about 98% complete. It's almost done. And so my predecessor moved in, and therefore when I took over, I had no choice but also move into it whilst we continue all the other processes. Mr. Speaker, permit me to now defer to my colleagues and then we will take the questions one by one. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, why dollars? The contract was a turnkey project, and then we wanted to lock in the value in terms of payment and evaluation, and also to prevent change of contract values if it was cedis. Cost of land is not part of the figures we have provided here. It was compulsorily acquired by Ghana government and then given to Bank of Ghana. Cost per square meter. Yes, if you use the 261, the total contract values per the various contracts that have been signed under the project, the cost per square meter now come to 2,446, still lower than the West African construction estimate and also internationally accepted estimates. Procurement approvals. Mr. Speaker, procurement approvals were sought for all the processes. The first one was the PPA approval to use the restricted tendering for the selected contractors who were perceived to be suitable to build such an edifice. The PPA gave an estimate at that time when they gave the approval of $81.8 million. Mr. Speaker, after the evaluation and then selection of the contractor, the lowest responsive value for the contract with BoG Properties Limited was $121.0 million. So the Bank of Ghana went back to PPA to inform them about the new value, and on 31st August 2020, the PPA gave approval for the $121 million. Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker, after the evaluation, the ETC gave approval for Bank of Ghana to go to CTRC to seek a concurrent approval, and that was also granted. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, the occupation issue has been answered already. The repeated increase in the contract sum. After the signing of contract with BoG Properties, now the Bank of Ghana have to come in and sit with the contractor to look at the total proposal as submitted. And many of the issues that were considered was the fact that there are security issues of the total contract that couldn't be given to public. So these ones had to be discussed at the point of the contract. Also, the original plan was supposed to be 25 floors. Unfortunately, the spatial requirements require that it cannot be 25, but reduced to 20-floor facility. We also have to look at all the statutory approval requirements and also the functionality of the building in order to address all the requirements of Bank of Ghana. This finally resulted in, Mr. Speaker, a four-structure facility made up of the tower block, 20 floors, urban block, 8 floors, amenity block, 6 floors, and the podium that houses 5 car park floors under the building, because it was noted that that area lacked car park, and then we will have to factor that into the building. And a modern energy farm system was also introduced into the facility in order to address power needs, since such a building will require continuous power supply without any issue of light off. A treatment plant for water was also introduced. And all these things were done in order to make the building EDGE certified. And Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that the project is EDGE certified, and then EDGE team will also do a review very soon. Mr. Speaker, value for money, we relied on the various approvals to confirm the value for the contract. Currently, it has been decided that an independent consultancy firm will be employed to review the project cost to see, and Mr. Governor made mention of that. Mr. Speaker, no drawings was done because it was a turnkey project. So we did not do quantity cost or quantity analysis before the project. Selection of consultants. Mr. Speaker, we used a single source method of selection, and that one to approval was sought. In fact, this was done when we have to go through the professional institutions in Ghana that can supervise such projects. After going through all the professional consultancy firms that can do that, we identified Multicard, a Ghanaian consultancy firm, as a suitable consultancy firm that can manage the project for us as the employee rep of the project. Mr. Chair, currently what I know about Crown Regent is that it's defunct. However, as indicated earlier, Mr. Governor has decided that we can use a local company to do that job. So I'm sure when the board comes, these issues will be discussed and the appropriate action taken on that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Speaker.
Thank you. We'll then open the second round of questions. I give the floor to Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Anodompre.
Chairman, let me thank you for the opportunity. Chairman, I've taken time to listen to the presentation, and the governor's and his team, I think one of his team members responded to a question on value for money. And amongst other things, he says they came to certain conclusions based on the procedure that was adopted. And then he also says the AESL will be contracted to do some work. I don't know if I'm correct. Then you went ahead also to say an independent body will again be contracted. I'm struggling to get some meaning. Why will, the first place, is it not too late in the day that AESL will be engaged? And why would you still want to engage an independent body on same subject matter? Am I right to come to a conclusion that after all, there are no fishy deals in this project, and Ghana did not lose out on it? And once and for all, based on your presentation and the facts you put out, we should be putting away or let the controversy rest once and for all. Would I be right to come to this conclusion?
Honorable Adongo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, these were these were decisions that were taken by the previous board. I was not on that. But if I'm on the board, are you taking decisions here? You are not taking any decisions. So if you are taking decisions, I will abstain. Mr. Chairman, I wasn't a director when transactions were made. I'm speaking in that capacity. Mr. Chairman, paragraph 7.
Honorable Adongo, just hold it. I recognize the minority leader.
Chairman, respectfully, the honorable member who just rose and caught your eye has just been appointed as a director of the bank. He's gone through the process, nomination through Council of State, and finally he has become a director. Although he's yet to be sworn in, I humbly hold a view that he can pass on his concerns to some other member to ask. Because, Mr. Speaker, the governor said that the same board is going to pursue the matter. It is obvious that he is in conflict. He is in conflict in the sense that, first, Mr. Speaker, is in conflict in the sense that he is torn between two bona fides here. One as a director, and the second as a member of this legislature. Mr. Speaker, a matter has come before this House. And the matter that has come before this House, though you don't have a personal interest, you have an interest in your official capacity. That is, as part of your functions, the governor has indicated that you are going to undertake certain activities. I do not think that it would be appropriate in the circumstances to now proceed to be asking questions on the very matter that you are going to peruse in your capacity as a director of the bank. Mr. Speaker, I've just made my submission. It's for you to rule upon it.
Honourable members, guided by the decision of the Supreme Court in the case of Justice Abdullah versus Attorney General Adongo, you have the floor. Ask your question.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, thank you very much for the protection. In 2020, I was not a board member, and these transactions were done from 2020. Even now, I only disclose my interest and not take a decision.
Please proceed to
That's all I do.
Proceed.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, the board under paragraph 7 indicated that the original estimated contract sum, or the engineer's estimate, put the contract at $100 million. In their own wisdom, they revised this to 81 million before the tender. Then a tender is received which is 50% above the estimated figure given to us by our engineers. Our engineers, having compiled all the bill of quantities, think that it will cost us 80 million to build this facility. We are now looking for a contractor, and the contractor comes to tell us that he will construct it at a figure 50% above what our engineers are saying. And we went ahead and approved it. It didn't end there. Now we are dealing with 261, and this was being done at the time of COVID-19. Ghanaians were being asked to pay COVID levy. And you then went and signed a contract which is 250% above your levy. My question is, was it that the Bank of Ghana was living without limitation? Whereas everybody was tightening their belts, Bank of Ghana had a lot of money to just be spending. But Chairman, can they tell us the second lowest or the lowest bidder per the evaluation report? There were other bidders. What were they saying? Were they also quoting 121 billion? Yeah. Can they tell us what the other bidders were willing to construct the property for, and for which they were ignored and we went for 121 million? Can they tell us what the other bidders were telling us? And then two, as we speak today, it's been 5 years. We still don't have a value for money audit. We don't have a value for money. If they have it, they should submit it. We are now going to determine value for money for a project whose cost has been increased almost every now and then. So why is it that we didn't have value for money when it became clear to us? When it became clear to us that the original figure was being exceeded, we didn't do value for money. We kept doing that until now. Why was there no value for money up to this point? Then, Mr. Chairman, I want to find out. Is it also one of those projects like the National Cathedral where the figure was listen to me, where the figure was a moving target?
Honourable members, order.
Chairman,
Honourable members, let's listen to each other in silence.
The cost of that project was also a moving target. Was it a moving target? Was the project cost a moving target? Said that it could just be going up and up and up and up without an idea where it will end? Please, Chairman, I want to know whether this cost was a moving target. Because we are in this country, when you people started a national cathedral and every day the figure was going up. Then you went to build the headquarters of Bank of Ghana, that figure too also started going up. Why? Are you only interested in moving targets? Please tell us, was it a moving target?
Honourable members, Honourable Adongo, you shouldn't have added the issue of cathedral.
Okay, Chairman, I agree with you. I am not adding that, but I want to know.
Let that be a
I want to know whether this project,
Honourable Brana Champo,
the cost of this project was a moving target and never ended.
Yes,
I want to know that.
Honourable Brana Champo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the people supervising the construction of the Bank of Ghana building are not the people on this side. The people on this side are the ones supervising the construction of the Bank of Ghana building. The Speaker, the 107,000 square meters, we are told, cost $222 million. And it came to, per square meter, about 2,068. They also quoted a tax element of $42 million. My question is the 222 million inclusive
of the tax of 42 million. If it is, then the actual construction cost will be $1,600 per square meter, which will be far, 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 far lower than the recommended construction cost for such buildings in Africa. That is, if the 222 million is inclusive, the tax of 42 million is inclusive, then the cost will be far cheaper. But Mr. Speaker, when we talk about building a Bank of Ghana structure, where a central bank structure, for that matter, we are not talking about building a Ministry of Agriculture head office or an NHIS head office. We are talking about the Central Bank of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I can assure you that the cost of construction, we can relate it to the African continent, the world market price of per square meter. But the security architecture, the implications of it alone can also be more expensive than the building itself. If we are building a serious central bank infrastructure, what goes into it for security can be more expensive than the brick and mortar. So my question is, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'm coming to the question.
Honorable members, can we listen to each other in silence?
Mr. Speaker,
honorable members, with the exception of Honorable Brian Champon, all others, resume your seat.
The question is, that was the background to the question. Mr. Speaker, the question is, a request is being made, and this will be the first one in this country, an infrastructure for recycling and reuse of waste to liquid treatment in a building in Ghana, the first of its kind. We are recycling and reusing waste to liquid treatment plants in this country. The question is, Mr. Governor, as you have resumed, the question is, as you have resumed this position as governor, if there is a need to upgrade the security infrastructure as you already have to be compliant with 2025-2026, albeit the cost of 220 million, will you admit new costs if you are being impressed upon or advised by national security to add on other infrastructure to the building? Will you admit the cost? Finally, one of your officers did mention that the cost of valuation, the cost and quantity valuation was not done. And his reason was that it is because it is a turnkey project. Mr. Speaker, I find it very strange, and I'll add a question. I find it very strange that somebody will walk into the Bank of Ghana boardroom, present to you a turnkey document, you don't review quantities, and then you award a contract. One of the most respected institutions in this country is the Bank of Ghana. The people there are highly respected, and it will surprise me. And Mr. Governor, I don't believe that a document was presented to you, quantities were not evaluated, and the Bank of Ghana accepted the bid and awarded a contract. I want a verification of that and a validation of that statement. Thank you.
Honorable Richard Achampong.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. If I heard the officer right, he mentioned that finally the cost per square meter as we speak stands at 2,446. Is that correct? 2,446, which excludes the cost of the land. So if you tell us that it's lower than the market value, are you being fair to us? Because the land must have a cost. The land must have a cost. Even if it was given to you free of charge, there's a cost to it. So you can't exclude the cost of the land and tell me it's lower than the market value. You're not being fair to us. My second issue is, right now we are talking about 261,773. Can you share with us the current value, market value of this project? Assume you are selling the project today. What is the current market value today if you are selling the project?
Honorable Jerry Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 7. Mr. Speaker, paragraph 7, respectfully, with your permission, says that the PPA, by a letter dated 29 January 2020, conveyed the board's approval to the Bank of Ghana. The approval to use the shortlisted contractors for the restricted tender also revised the estimated cost of the project from 100 million to 81 million. First of all, just want to find out if that was complied with. And then when you come to paragraph 10, it goes on to say that the PPA, in response to the bank's letter dated 31st August 2020 on the outcome of the tender process, reviewed the initial PPA approved estimated amount from USD 81 million to USD 121 million. Just want to find out what accounted for this change. If the first was complied with the 100 and something to 81 and then the subsequent one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable James Agalga.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, if you look at paragraph 5, the bank states that the land was compulsorily acquired by the state through an executive instrument. Now, they also go on to state that the said land was previously owned by the state insurance company. So my question is, did the state compulsorily acquire from itself? In any case, how much compensation was paid by the state after the compulsory acquisition? What was the value of the land? And how much did the state pay?
Honorable Dominic Bingham Nitiwuro.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want the document that the governor shared with members. I want confirmation because most of us here have gone through or at least have held public offices before, and so we know the processes. I've seen from your briefing and to the document, you stated certain things. I want confirmation. Your briefing says that this project was a restricted tender. How many firms did they restrict it to? when they were opening the bid, were the company's present or not? Were they in the room when they opened the bid, or the restricted tender? That's the first thing, so that it's transparent for everybody. Secondly, after PPA has given you approval and your entity tender meets, was it taken to the Central Tender Review Committee of the Ministry of Finance or not? This is the second leg I want. I see it here, but I want confirmation from you. In your own document, you are admitting that the industry standard, this contract is much lower than the industry standard in terms of per square meter. What really is the problem, Mr. Governor, with this contract from your own perspective? Because one, you are admitting to Parliament here that it's much cheaper than the industry standard. So it means that this contract could have been higher. That's the first thing. You are saying to us that this contract, it could have been even much higher than the price. And so the contractor or the winning bid did Ghana a big favor, or the Bank of Ghana a big favor, by giving you a contract lower. And in fact, as the former Minister for Agri said, if the tax element is actually part, then it's much, way lower. And I will even be surprised that anybody would do that. So I want to find out from you, what really, in your view, is the problem with this contract? What is it? Is it the cost, which you said is lower? Is it that I didn't go through the processes? Or what really is the problem? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, honorable members. I intend to take only one, and then give the opportunity to the leadership. So, Honorable Sule.
Chairman, I'm very grateful. Chairman, on page 6, please sit down. On page 6, we have been given payments up to date, but we have not been given the percentage of work done. We need to know the percentage of work done, and that's to commensurate with the payments made. So I think that it's very important for us to have the figures, percentage of work done, and then amount of money paid. That is one. 2, reading and listening to the governor, we have 2 projects here. The main projects and then the other auxiliaries that were added. Now you went to PPA and you were given approval for the main contracts. Then you went again for approval where you said you use sole sourcing for the consultancy. Now the installation and the other security items, did you go back to PPA for their approval? And what procurement process was used in choosing them? That's the second issue. Then the third one, yes, it's been said here, but I still want to go to ask about it. What is the total cost of this project? I'm asking this because if land was not valued and added to the project, how do you tell us that? How can you tell us that this is the total cost? We need to know how much the land will cost. Then when you add it to the total cost of the construction and other installments, then you can say that this is the total amount of money expended on the project. So we need to know that. Thank you.
I'll give the floor to Habib. Honorable leaders, when a leader is on his feet, so Honorable Abna Usayasari.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to know, just as it's been stated here, that the cost of the project per square meter is way below that of the industry. So I want to know why they've been hauled to Parliament. Secondly, I also want to find out if this is the only big project Bank of Ghana has done in its lifetime. All the other projects that they have done, what is the process? I know they have done one in Takrady, they have done the hospital, they have done Tamale. And clearly, we also want to find out the processes they went through in all those other projects, and whether they went through things like this, and whether they were held before Parliament for putting up a project in Takrady, in Tamale, and the hospital as well. Because clearly, Mr. Chairman, if we are being told that the cost of the project is way below that of the industry's cost, frankly, why have they been hauled to Parliament? Thank you.
Well, on your question why they've been called to Parliament, I recognize the Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the former Deputy Finance Minister objected a member of Parliament for Etiwa. Minister of State, sorry. Yes. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, when the Honorable Adongo was on his feet, the Honorable Member for Etiwa East, objected strenuously. I saw her on her feet. She remonstrated against Adongo asking any question. Now, Adongo has not even been sworn in. He does not owe a fiduciary relationship, all right, with the Bank of Ghana now. And yet, as a director, and yet you objected. You were on the board. At the time that this decision was taken, you were on the board. So you are even more conflicted. You are even more conflicted than the Honorable Adongo. You are even more conflicted.
Mr. Speaker, I need to put this on record. I was sworn on the board in November 2024. That has to be on record. November 2024. That has to be on record because this is the House of Record. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, by that time,
Honorable Minority Leader.
Into that building. I was sworn in November
Leader, please,
2024.
you have the floor.
Thank you.
Leadership should wind up. Leadership should wind up.
Mr. Speaker, you... Mr. Speaker,
Honorable members,
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable members, kindly resume your seats. Honorable members, kindly resume your seats.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Tambole, Honorable Kojo Opon, please resume your seats. Please resume your seats.
Mr. Speaker, if you will indulge me, Mr. Speaker, I think, Mr. Speaker, I think you should give us ample time to digest the issue. Inviting the governor here today, you saw the debate before we went into the committee of the whole. So if we don't give members the opportunity to ask the questions they ought to ask the governor, when will we get that opportunity again and make comments? So, Mr. Speaker, I want to appeal to you that you should allow members to ask those questions.
Honorable people, you have been in this house for some time. Tell me an occasion of a committee of the whole that we have taken 10-10 from each side.
Mr. Speaker, I am not going to labor on this issue. You are the chairman, Mr. Speaker, and it lies on you to be able to create that opportunity for us so that members can ask these questions. The majority leader and the leader of the House forcefully made his point that it is necessary for the governor to be here so that any question we have with regards to the building, then we'll be able to ask. But now if we discharge him out of one question, he will leave and we still have questions hanging. It means that he hasn't come to say anything because we have not been able to get the opportunity to ask all our questions. So, Mr. Speaker, with respect, kindly give us the opportunity to ask the questions.
Honorable Deputy Whip, you can't take away this discretion from me. We are winding up the debate. So, Honorable Minority Leader, you have the floor. One up, so that we can give the opportunity to the governor to respond to all issues raised.
Mr. Chair, my humble suggestion is that they have received a lot of questions. Let them clear it. Then once they are done, we can come in with our, then they will do the final answering.
With all due respect, I want the governor to factor the questions from minority and majority leader, then we call it off, please.
Chairman, I'm not
yes, you may yield to any other person you are entitled to do.
I'm not yielding. Yeah. You've not gotten the trust of my submission. What I'm saying is that we've had over several questions. They have about 25 questions to answer. I am only pleading. Our duty is to guide the chair.
Yes.
So let them answer those questions.
Your point is well noted. What I intend to do is that add your questions so that they will take it in a whole.
Chairman, there may be a follow-up. You see? Oh, come on, please. Chairman, we are asking the final set of questions. There may be follow-up emanating. So let them answer. We will take further note because I've taken note. Then when we come,
Honorable Minority Leader, at what point will you give me the opportunity to moderate?
Chairman, it's okay. Let's okay. Chairman, the governor in his introductory remarks, in his intro, he indicated that they, as a bank, have a duty in ensuring financial stability. And that duty they would not depart from. He is also giving us a professional response to the general concerns on the streets of Accra. Indeed, to demonstrate transparency, he told this House that he came with those in charge of the project. And they are available with us to answer questions that may come from this House floor. Chairman, in the 6-page report from the governor titled Report to the 9th Parliament on the new corporate headquarters for the Bank of Ghana, named the Bank Square, dated Bank of Ghana, March 5, 2025. Indeed, the entire report does not raise any irregularity in respect of the subject matter. The central bank governor relied on this report with a further submission from his prepared notes, and he has taken us through the step-by-step processes and the step-by-step procedures that the bank followed. I think that's a mark of leadership. And on this side of the house, we convey to you our respect, to you for that sincerity. The allegation of irregularity today has been put to a peaceful rest. In your submissions, you highlighted the following. One, that even the standard costing procedure is lower than the industry market price. As contained in your submissions, which submissions have become part of Hansard, and it's a matter of public records. Two, you have also shared with us, as the people's representatives, that the variations were occasioned by necessity. The necessity included, one, security, which was not initially considered. Two, the need to have a system that would generate power, a recycling facility. You've also indicated that indeed this also necessitated the variation. Third, you've added, and this came through the project manager, that apart from the building, the original tower, there were other additional buildings that were originally not considered as part of the original bid. I'm happy that Hansard has witnessed all these explanations. Hansard has witnessed all these explanations. A moment ago, Mr. Chair, this room was filled. The majority filled all their spaces. And it is obvious the majority leader is looking behind him. Look behind you. All of them have vanished. Mark of fair match, Aboka. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I have also from the records of the governor, by way of my fourth point, come to understand that indeed the final value for the project, which is the 261 million, indeed included some 48 million of same as taxes. So, yes. So it wasn't the case that the value by way of the cost paid to the contractor in entirety was some 261 million. However, it was an all-inclusive costing which had a $48 million being paid to the states in taxes. So that distinction has also been drawn, and this Parliament is pleased for that information from the governor. My fifth observation, that everything done, according to the governor, not mine, according to the governor, everything done was regular. Everything done was within the law. He did. It's here. It's here. The governor, this is the report. I'll read it. Oh, it's okay. I'll read it. I'll read it. I will read it. Don't worry. Don't worry. I read page 7. Let me start from page 7, page 1, paragraph 6. The need to procure a highly complex central bank accommodation, meeting national security considerations, and the bank's highly classified information security needs inform the selection of the firms. The bank wrote to the Public Procurement Authority on 14 January 2020 for approval to use the restricted tendering method. The following firms known to be operating in Ghana, emphasis known to be operating in Ghana, were shortlisted. And the companies are there. Renaissance Construction, though not wholly a Ghanaian-owned company, partnered with a local company, David Walter Limited, during the tendering process. Paragraph 7. The PPA, by a letter dated January 2020, conveyed the board's approval to the Bank of Ghana. This approval to use the shortlisted contractors for the restricted tender also revised the estimated cost of the project from 100 million to 81 million. 8. After evaluation of tenders were received, the entity tender committee of the bank, at its meeting held on 6th August 2020, considered tender evaluation panel's recommendation, emphasis, considered the entity tender panel's recommendation, and approved the award of the contract for the project to Mrs. Gold Key Properties Limited at the cost of 121 million under 10 key into bracket design and build contract arrangement. Design and build. So, for emphasis, the project was not just about Gold Key building. Gold Key was required because it was a 10-key project. Was required to design and build. So 2 things. 9. The ETC further directed for concurrent approval to be sought from the Central Tender Review Committee of the Ministry of Finance. So we are going by procedure known in law. Procedure known in law. 10. The PPA, in response to the bank's letter dated 31st August 2020, on the outcome of the tender process, reviewed the initial PPA approval, estimated amount of 81 million to the 120 million. So they carried all the recommendations of the review panel back to PPA that we want you to approve, look at it, and then approve it or otherwise. And PPA again approved this. So this is what the central bank is telling us, that they followed due process. Now let's go to their paragraph 10. The PPA, in response to the bank's letter dated 11, the CTRC, that's the Central Tender Review Committee, in September, so you follow day by day, dates are all captured. September 2020 granted concurrent approval to the bank to engage the recommended tenderer, Messieurs Gold Key Properties Limited, at a contract price of 121 million under 10 key and contract arrangement. Now 12. In November 2020, the bank signed a contract with the contractor for the construction of the corporate headquarters for a period of 30 months, into bracket 6 months for design, 24 months for construction. The project site was formally handed over to the contractor in March 2021 for the commencement of preliminary site works and designs. So, Mr. Speaker, Chairman, from this point, it is clear that due process, according to the central bank, was followed. This is their report, not mine. This is not a partisan report. This is not a report from any consultant. This is a report which is the bona fide of central bank to this house. Mr. Chairman, let's come to design scope and cost reviews. The narrative out there was that a construct sum to Gold Key amount to X amount. But here, there's a disclosure that there is a design scope. There's a scope for design of the whole work. And we all know that in our own small properties that we build, we engage an architect to design at a different cost, which is not part of the building cost. So at this point, it's been explained. Thank you, Central Bank. Then we come to paragraph 13. The initial design proposals for the project envisage a gross floor area of 73,000 square meters with the following details. 1. 25-story tower block, 4-story car park facility, 2-level basement, and an auditorium. Then on 14, the central bank goes further that they need to reconfigure the special requirement to meet all relevant statutory requirements and functionality and address inadequacies in the employer's requirement resulted in the modification of the initial design concept and scope, and a scope change to the current gross floor area of 107,000 square meters. So, Mr. Speaker, I am emphasizing this because originally the central bank says that it was looking at 73 square meters. 73,000 square meters. Now, in their own report, some people were asking what is the justification for the increase in the pricing. Now, the central bank has again told us that they increased the space to 107,000 square meters. And then under this, they are now telling us that the project currently consists 3 main blocks. Originally, it was just 1 block. Now 3 main blocks, and they have named them. The tower, the urban and amenities block, with basements, podiums, and ancillary facilities. Now, under 15, tower block, 20-story.
Honorable members. Honorable members, let there be order. Let's have some order. Honorable Adongo, please resume your seat.
When I'm done, your leader would also have an opportunity. Would you be happy when my side obstructs him the way you're obstructing me?
Honorable Minority Leader, address the chair. Honorable Adongo, resume your seat.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the Bank of Ghana, after explaining the increase in the gross floor area, now covering 107,000 square meters, now gives us a breakdown of the new design. And under the new design, these are the breakdowns. One, they say they're now going to have a tower, urban and amenities blocks with basements, podiums, and ancillary facilities. And these are the specific breakdowns. The tower block is supposed to be a 20-story block, urban block of 18-story, amenities block 6-story, basement of 5 levels with car park areas, ancillary facilities, energy farms, treatment plants, and security gate houses. Then they go further to say, in addition to meeting these requirements of all relevant building codes, the building design incorporated sustainable design concepts such as energy conservation, water conservation, recycling, and reuse of waste, liquid, and solid. And they said that this thing is the first of its kind in the country. Then they go further to say the design satisfies the excellence in design for greater efficiencies green standard, for which preliminary EDGE advance has been used. Excellence in design for greater efficiencies. EDGE. Mr. Speaker, this is Bank of Ghana to us. Now, the paragraph 18. The ETC of the bank at its meeting held in December 2022 considered and approved the design review and the revised project costs of 2,068 per square meter. This figure is lower than the market value with data from African Properties and Construction Cost Guide of 2021-2022 stating 2,658 per square meter, and in 2022-2023 at 2,720 per square meter at average construction cost for prestige high-rise office spaces in Africa. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, this report is coming from the bank, that in all their dealings, they ensured value for money, and then the pricing was even far lower in terms of known costs, benchmarks in the industry. This is in their report, not mine. Mr. Speaker, the central bank continues to say that the CTRC subsequently granted concurrent approval for the revised scope of works at the cost
of 2,068 per square meter, which translates into 222 million as the construction cost. So, Mr. Speaker, from all indications in the report from Central Bank, and in fact, it is not as if the managers or the directors who were in charge of this project are the ones who are still there to trigger any curiosity. They are not in office. Dr. Addison is no more there. His other deputies are not there. Dr. Asiama and the new team are here to give us an honest account of what the records have. And they've been very sincere that should anybody on the streets of Accra today say that the Central Bank building, that project did not meet value for money or that it is too expensive, what Bank of Ghana is saying is that it is cheaper as compared to market standards. What the Central Bank is saying that the construction of the entire project came at a lesser cost to the country and that they have saved this country money. The records are here. Mr. Speaker, if you come to paragraph 19, the Central Bank again gives us a further breakdown that out of the construction cost of 222, payment made to date is $202 million, leaving $20 million to be paid. He says that...
Honorable Minority Leader,
yes,
please be brief.
Yes, sure. I'm concluding. Thank you, Chair. Now, he says that as at end of February 2025, over $42 million had been paid in taxes. Mr. Speaker, of emphasis is the fact that this construction came at a great huge savings to the state. Instead of the contractor being paid 2,658 per square meter, Bank of Ghana was able to negotiate a lower amount of 2,068. This is contained in paragraph 18. Bank of Ghana is saying that apart from following due process, it has also saved the taxpayer money. That we have 107,000 square meter project. On each square meter, there is a savings of $600 plus. Multiply $600 plus, multiply it by 107,000 square meter. What do we get? My math is not good. We are talking about something amount in excess of $70 million. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I welcome the governor's closing remarks in his submission to the effect that, yes, these steps were all taken. These are the hard facts. However, there is a new board coming in. All these facts will be made known to the new board. I welcome that. That is how we ensure good governance. So the new board must know. Two, Governor also assures us that all these things, in spite of the cost savings and all, will still be subjected to value for money audit, which is also good. AESL is a known institution, and with all the professionals involved,
I believe that if they look at it, they will be able to come to a certain conclusion. So I think that it is very fair. We must not play any political football with this. Mr. Speaker, I will conclude with an observation that in future, should some of these concerns emanate in this House, I believe, has some aspect in the area of building and construction. We may perhaps have to look at inviting Mr. Speaker to set up a special committee which is made up of experts in that field. I'm a legal practitioner. I'm not an expert in that field of design and construction. So I may not make it when it comes to the selection onto that committee. But in this House, there are IT experts, there are architects, there are engineers, there are financial engineers who know this field. So to guide us and not to expose this House to some public, I don't want to say public ridicule. We don't need to expose ourselves that everything is politics. No. But I think that even this exercise, in spite of all the procedural issues, is good for governance. At least the public out there knows that the people's representatives are doing their work. And you, Bank of Ghana, you've come transparently, done it. I know some TV stations were carrying it live. They had to truncate at a point. It's good for governance. So, Mr. Governor, thank you once again. Chairman, I appreciate your patience in indulging me. I would resume my seat without more and pray that when the board is sworn in and the work that is expected is done, Governor would again come and apprise the House with the outcome of it. On behalf of my colleagues, we say a big thank you to you and your team. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minority Leader. But Honorable Minority Leader, with all due respect, there is no procedural issues here. Honorable Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Chairman. And let me thank the Governor of the Bank of Ghana and his team for the presentation that they have made. I have been very involved in the advocacy around accountability for the construction of the new bank head office building. And I want to thank you because throughout the deliberations, throughout the discussions, and throughout the commentary, initially we were told that the building cost $222 million United States dollars. At the time of the inauguration of the building a few months ago, the media reported that the building cost $250 million. That's what the media reported. But by today's briefing, we are getting to know that the actual cost of the building is $261,773,268 million United States dollars. United States dollars. So this is the first time that those of us who have been at the forefront demanding accountability, demanding information. I have personally written several times.
I am to inform you that taxes are not part of the 260.
So taxes are not part of the 261 million. So if we added taxes, which you say is 46 million, then so whatever it is, when you construct property and it's being valued, they don't value the property separate from the taxes. The value is the value. So the point is that the governor has come today and we've gotten to know the true cost of the property, which is that it costs 261,773,268. It is not 222 million, and it is not 250 million. The point that the statement also reveals is that for several years, the Bank of Ghana has been wanting to build a new head office building. And that one day themselves wrote to PPA. They themselves proposed a property that cost $100 million. They themselves proposed a property that cost $100 million. That the PPA gave them an approval to construct a property valued at $81 million. So you yourself, the bank, you went to PPA and said, we want a property valued at $100 million. And PPA said, no, go and construct a property valued at $81 million. Today, you have come to tell Ghanaians that in spite of the fact that PPA says go and construct a property valued at $81 million, you have gone and ultimately you have maneuvered and you have constructed a property worth $261 million. $261 million from your own request of $100 million, from PPA directing you that it should be $81 million. Today, you are telling us that the property you constructed cost $261 million. Mr. Chairman, I listened carefully. The contract was for a building with all its facilities and design. A building that initially was going to be 73,000 square meters. A building that was going to be 73,000 square meters. Then there was a decision to redesign it, and the redesign produced a bank building that is 107,736 square meters. So the square meters, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Why are you running away from a discussion of this? Please, listen. No, listen.
Honorable Majority Leader, please address the chair. Order.
No, I will flow.
Honorable Tampuli, I don't know you to be like this. Honorable Majority Leader, you have the floor.
So the building design moved from 73,000 square meters to 107,000 square meters, 107.7. That is 46.7% increase in the square meters. 46.6% increase in the square meters. Now let's get to the cost, the price. Whereas, so the price for 73,000 square meters was 121 million United States dollars. When you redesigned it, and it moved from 73,000 to 107,000, the price moved from 121 million to 222 million. And that is a price increase of 84%. 84%. So you say that the indicator is the cost per square meter. You said that. The indicator. Why are you eager to defend the construction and the pricing? Why are you so eager to defend it? Listen carefully. I gave you a cost minus the security and then the ICT and then the CCTV camera, because the cost of 222 did not include those ones, because the CCTV, the security and all those are a separate contract. So I'm giving you just the square meters cost. You said the square meter cost is not okay, is 222 million, 222 million point 7 for the 107 square meters. And I'm saying that how is it possible that your square meters moved from 73,000 square meters to 107, that is 46%, and yet your price moved from 121 million to 222 million, which is 83% in the increase in the price. So your square meters increased by 46%, and then your price increased by 84%. How is that possible? How is that possible? We're not costing high. We're costing square meters. I'm saying that we're costing square meters. Square meters. Let's get serious here, please. Let's get serious. The whole country is watching us. We're on live television. We're on live television. How can you convince the SS student, former Minister for Education, how can you convince the SS student that you say you are pricing a building based on square meters, and you say that 73,000 square meters cost you 73,000 square meters moving to 107 square meters, the percentage increase is 46.6%, and then when it comes to the price of the same square meters, then it now moves from 121 million to 222 million, which is 84%. How is that possible? Can you explain that? Can you explain that? For me, this is a critical issue. This is a critical issue in my analysis of the price adjustment. And this is why I marched several times to the Bank of Ghana building. This is why I demonstrated from Circle to the Bank of Ghana, because I never understood why a price movement, square meter movement of 46% will attract a price increase of 84%. I need answers. That has to be explained. That has to be explained. Chairman, today, we have also gotten to know that the CCTV cameras and other security features of the building cost us 15.8 million United States dollars. CCTV cameras and other security features. It says IES installation cost. IES installation cost. Then ICT installation cost. ICT installation cost. Cost 8.6 million United States dollars. And then the furniture, the chairs that the workers will sit on and work. The chairs that the workers will sit on and work cost us $11 million. $11 million. How many workers are in the building that it will cost the Republic of Ghana $11 million to buy chairs for them to sit? We want to know how many workers are in the building for it to cost us $11 million to buy chairs for them to sit in. So let me ask, in addition, a few basic questions. I know that you have just assumed office. You have just assumed office. And you are telling us that this is the report that you have been given. Have you verified the square meters? Have you verified? Have you verified the square meters? Have you verified the square meters? 2, have you conducted a value for money audit? Because this house is not going to end the matter here. This house, we're asking the governor questions. This house is not going to stop here. This house is going to follow up with you so that when you verify using AESL or any other institute, let's say the Institute of Architectural Engineers of Ghana, for instance, or even the institute at KNUST, when you use them to verify, we expect you to come back to this house and report to us. Secondly, we want you to assemble the engineers, the architects, and the surveyors and explain to me how a variation of 40. You are not interested. I brought him here to answer questions for me. You are not interested. So please, I'm the one interested. Clearly, you are not interested. Clearly, you would have done that and just forgot about the building and its cost.
Honorable Majority Leader, please address the chair.
So we want you to explain to us how the price moved from 121 million to 222 million, which is 83%, when the square meters moved from 73,000 to 107,000, which is 46.6%. For me, these are the critical questions that must be answered, in addition to verifying the actual work that was done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honourable members, let me use the opportunity to thank the governor and his team for very well. Governor, please respond to the numerous questions asked, then I will conclude.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We have taken note of all the questions that honourable members have asked. And as I said, the board will delve into this. There are some residual matters that I cannot talk about, even aside the value for money issues. And given that no value for money has been done so far, given what I've been told by the project team, I think it makes sense to engage an independent agency. It helps all of us to benchmark. And so we will seek the authority of the board, and as Honorable Ayariga, Majority Leader, has demanded, we will get answers to those specific questions, after which we are happy to report back to leadership of Parliament. We derive our powers from Parliament. The Bank of Ghana Act is an act of Parliament. In fact, in 2016, when we amended our act, we were mandated to report to Parliament twice yearly. And yesterday, I signed the report on our operations for the second half year of last year, which is coming to Parliament. So we welcome your oversight functions, even within the context of our independence. I believe that we need you as we strive to restore public trust to the central bank. We want to strengthen the integrity of that institution, and I believe we are partners in this regard. This is only the first one, but we will be back anytime we need Parliament to support us in our mandate. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Honorable Brandon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my side, we asked the governor questions from this document, which he himself presented to us. All the questions are from this document. So he cannot say that he will take our views. We asked questions, not views, we didn't make suggestions. We expect him. He is new. But the people left and right of him, left of him, they are not new. I know this man very well. We've met at EMT. The institution Bank of Ghana is not new. So the questions that we are asking, he should be able to answer, because the questions are from this document. For example, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that this side, we don't want to allow the governor to take our views. We have not made views or suggestions. We ask questions. My leader asked questions. So he is supposed to answer. I ask questions. I asked 3 questions. We expect the governor to answer the questions. You brought him here to come and embarrass us. Let him answer the questions. Mr. Speaker, the governor should answer the questions. He is new. The bank is not new. The team is not new. The questions are from this document. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. He shouldn't leave this house without answering the questions.
Honorable available leader. Honorable available, yes. Honorable Ayariga, let me hear you.
The honorable member just said that I brought the governor here to embarrass them. Mr. Speaker, are they the ones who procured the Bank of Ghana building? Are you the one who procured the building? Or are you admitting that you had a hand in the procurement of the building? How come you be the ones embarrassed if the actual price is known? How? Maybe it's a consultant. Are you involved in the procurement? So please, it's a public asset. It was procured with taxpayers' money. I had issues. In fact, this side had issues. 138 of us, 36 of us, we marched. I have asked questions that cannot be answered now. He says that he is not capable of answering them now. He has to go and refer the issues to his board, get us permission from the board to now go and do a value for money audit and etc. So please.
Honourable members, I use the opportunity to thank the Governor of Bank of Ghana and the team for attending upon the House and responding to questions and taking suggestions on board. So once again, thank you. Honourable members, I also thank you for having a successful committee of the whole meeting. Governor and the team, you are accordingly discharged.